Vote is closed. And it is
In February, the European Parliament approved a historic loan for Ukraine, proposed by the EU Commission. 90 billion euros in 2026 and 2027.
The European Union, including the member states, of course, has been by far the largest partner to Ukraine, largest donor to Ukraine.
280 billion euros in financial and military aid since 2022, and candidate status to join the EU.
In all honesty, I want the Ukrainian army backing my back, not facing me.
Ukraine is holding Europe's defense line today. Ukrainian forces are paying with their blood to defend Europe's borders. I don't think we can easily forget that.
Ukraine is constantly targeted by Russian air attacks while it's going through a freezing winter. While we were filming, there were 2,000 Russian drones, 1,200 bombs, and 116 missiles in just 1 week. They struck the country, plunging neighborhoods or whole cities into darkness. Strikes on energy infrastructure have deprived hundreds of thousands of people of electricity, heating, and hot water in minus 27 degrees. In the capital, like elsewhere, the humming of generators is a background noise that people barely notice anymore. That day, 150 of these devices were given to Ukraine by France, including 30 for Kyiv and the surrounding region, with the mayor attending.
Around 500,000 people right now without heating. It's so cold temperature, and for the people, it's a big challenge.
These generators were delivered thanks to the EU's civil protection mechanism. It's the most significant operation since the program was created in 2001. More than 157,000 tons of such aid have been delivered. For France's Minister Delegate for Foreign Trade, preparedness is the key.
If we weren't partnering with our Ukrainian friends and supporting them, including through investments and economic partnerships that can be built here, then we would quite simply be shooting ourselves in the foot.
The big challenge is to rebuild in the middle of war and to ensure that the state continues to function and encourage displaced persons to return. The European Investment Bank has launched a €750 million program to restore schools, hospitals, and essential infrastructure. South of Kyiv, €1.4 million has been invested in modernizing this hospital service, with work nearing completion.
We're at the Vasilkiv Multidisciplinary Intensive Care Hospital. This unit provides specialized medical care to people who've suffered an acute stroke.
Beds with integrated oxygen panels, refurbished networks, easy access for people with reduced mobility. The unit is now equipped to EU standards.
These rooms are comfortable, spacious, and new.
As well as financing infrastructure, the EU wants to help Ukrainians ensure the rule of law, even while the bombs fall. This afternoon, we have an appointment in what used to be a parking lot 4 years ago.
It's a shelter, and the reason we are having an event right here is just in case there is air striking, we can continue our event without any interruption.
For 3 days, a series of discussions brought together the Ukrainian Ministry of Justice, European experts, and civil society, including the Pravo Justice Project. The first phase of this Brussels-funded initiative was launched in 2014.
There's never enough of training and awareness raising, that's for sure. Especially inside.
In the summer of 2025, the first protests since the start of the war were held against a controversial law that threatened the independence of anti-corruption agencies. Faced with pressure from the streets and from the EU, President Zelensky backed down. He also got rid of many of his close associates involved in scandals.
In a way, it's healthy. It proves that the system is working, that it produces results. Perhaps the results are not entirely satisfactory, and we need to see how we can improve things. But there are other places where corruption is rife, and yet you never hear about it.
Of course, the war does create unique challenges.
For instance, Ukraine lacks more than 2,000 judges. It's more than 30% of all vacancies in the judicial sector. It's not just only about the political willingness, not only about the steps we should make. It's a balance of resources of the country at war.
What's lacking the most is human resources, because people have been displaced, wounded, killed, or are still fighting. Ukrainians are already feeling the effects of European military support. In the Dnipro region, we find the 147th Brigade, equipped with French César cannons. Soldiers welcome the modern artillery as they gradually adopt NATO standard calibers.
We fought in 2014-2015, and we only had Soviet equipment. And now we are using modern weaponry, and thanks to that, we have achieved a lot.
In 2025, overall military aid to Ukraine fell to its lowest, barely 36 billion euros, as the Trump administration drastically reduced its contribution. Meanwhile, Europe provided most of the funding, increasing its budget by 2/3, compared to the average of the previous 2 years.
We want victory. We want the war to come to an end as quickly as possible, because our loved ones are dying. But thanks to Europe, we managed to show that Ukraine is also a strong country.
At the front, it's all about winning and survival, of course. But these men are convinced that joining the EU will give their country the security guarantee it needs. More than 600 kilometers away, the EU ambassador to Ukraine points out that the country applied for membership just 4 days after the invasion in 2022.
Very few people remember that. We were all kind of surprised in Brussels that this is what they think about when they are hiding from Russian bombs in the shelters. That's when you realize that the European Union is the hope that people in Ukraine have. And they had this hope all the way since 2014, because the Maidan revolution, the famous revolution of dignity that brought down former President Yanukovych, who fled to Russia, was done under EU flags. I mean, Ukraine is actually drafting the handbook on how to reform while fighting a war.
The path to EU integration remains fraught with obstacles for a country that has endured 4 years of full-scale war. But it is the prospect and promise of peace and security that allows Ukrainians to hold their ground against the Russian invaders.